In a nutshell, the Costa Rica mission trip has two components. One where we're able to see God's creation and just enjoy community. And two, allow God to use us to create a homecoming for a family in Costa Rica by actually building a house in 2 days and then having a ceremony where we pray over the house and give that to the family. A few of the memorable moments for me for this trip, one clearly is building a house in 2 days. I didn't think we were going to be able to build it that quickly with a bunch of students and myself included who didn't have much construction experience. So to be able to build the house in a day and then detail it out on day 2 was just eye-opening and incredible for me. That was a highlight for sure of the week. The second highlight for me was interacting with some missionaries from Chile or Brazil or Costa Rica and getting to know their families a little bit. I loved getting to know different people's stories, and one of the missionaries ended up spending a few days with us after our build time, so that was just a lot of fun to get to know a 21-year-old story who's seeking to use her life to honor Jesus in that way. So that was a big thing. And then the last thing was the whitewater rafting trip. It was just fun. It was fun to see the students' faces, genuinely free, genuinely having fun, genuinely enjoying themselves. So those three are the three biggest highlights for me. So it was my first time to be in Costa Rica also. And so it was eye-opening for me to see how dense and compact the city was from a housing. We would see the subdivisions, what we would call it, on the horizon, and they were all tin roofed, rusted up, really small. There were no cars on the streets. Every car, if there was a car, was behind gated big bars and chains. We didn't even see many kids playing around outside. There's no yards. It's just house on top of house, all boarded up with bars, security bars. And so seeing how tight and dirt/concreted everything was, it felt very it felt like you're in a prison everywhere. And that was shocking to me to see how much safety protocol people put in on keeping their possessions safe. Thankfully we got to go on a hike and a rafting trip, and so in the combination of both of those, we got to see lots of God's diversity of His creation. From different plants, the flowers were incredible. I took plenty of pictures of all these different unique flowers that I just have never seen before. So to see God's creativity within creation based on the plants and then based on some of the insects or frogs or sloths that we saw or monkeys that we saw hanging out in the trees, it was just a lot of fun to see different types of God's creation, different than what we're used to seeing here in Tomball, Texas. Surprisingly more humid, I would have to say Costa Rica. I felt that it was much more humid. It's in tropical rainforest, so I think that probably says enough. But then experiencing the humidity was real and thick for sure.